Zack Wilson to start Week 15 against the New York Jets, and Dan Campbell is talking playoffs. Hello, everyone. My name is Derek, and welcome to Detroit Lions Syndicate. If you are new to the channel, we talk all things Detroit Lions, so consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. And if you don't know, there is another channel where we have live shows about the Detroit Lions, and soon, and hopefully to be more, Syndicate Sports Detroit. Currently, we are about 15 subscribers away from 1,000. So if you are not familiar with that channel and you love Detroit sports, Michigan as well, then go ahead and subscribe to that channel. We got a new host tomorrow, Mr. David Pike, but you may know him as Detroit Lions Forum. He will be hosting a show on Saturday called The New Era Lions with David Pike. So make sure you go over there and subscribe to the channel, man, and give it a listen. After taking a beating last week against the New York Jets, Mike White, who was practicing during the week, has been ruled out and will not play in Sunday's game versus the Detroit Lions. Zack Wilson, who was just elevated to the number 2 quarterback yesterday, will get the start versus the Detroit Lions. Now, in Zack Wilson's 7 starts this year, he went 5-2, doesn't have the best QBR, doesn't have the best completion percentage, and if I'm not mistaken, has thrown 3 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, something like that. It could be 4 and 5 of each, but it isn't looking good when it comes to Zack Wilson for the New York Jets. Now, Zack Wilson was the 2nd overall pick behind Trevor Lawrence, but ahead of Trey Lance in the 2021 NFL Draft. And a couple weeks ago, he pretty much lost the team when he was asked by a reporter if the offense had let the defense down during that game against the New England Patriots. And his short, snazzy remark of no, kind of got him on the outside looking in when it came to not only his coach, but his teammates as well. Mike White got the start, and the New York Jets players were in full support of Mike White starting at QB. But after the beating that he took, he was not cleared to play in this Sunday game. I actually like that because it looked really, really bad. He wound up going to the hospital that day. He is, in my opinion, one good hit from being knocked out for long term. And the Jets are trying to make a playoff push, as are we. So I think that was best for Mike White and his health to not participate in this game. And Dan Campbell, and us as fans, me in particular, we have been talking about playoffs essentially all season. Not looking too good after the 1-6 start, but after going 5-1 over the last 6 games and the potential to go 6-1 and mirror the exact beginning of the season, the Detroit Lions are now in playoff contention, just 1 game away from being 500. The Seattle Seahawks lost last night, and they are now sitting at 7-7. I'm going to go over this, so see if you can follow me. There are 4 teams fighting for 2 spots: the Detroit Lions, the Seattle Seahawks, the Washington Commanders, and the New York Giants. The Commanders and Giants tied a few weeks ago, but they play Sunday night in the flex game for Sunday Night Football. The winner of that game will have the 6th seed currently held by the New York Giants. Right now, the Commanders are number 7. The winner of that game goes to number 6. The loser drops to number 7. The Seattle Seahawks remain at 8, and with a win, the Detroit Lions would remain at 9. The Lions and Seahawks cannot move from 8 and 9 until at least week 16. Now, the Detroit Lions can't go up with the win. They will remain in 9. But with a loss, it is possible that from my calculations, they could drop as low as 11. The Green Bay Packers could not move ahead of them, but potentially the Carolina Panthers, there's another team as well that could potentially, moving to 6 and 8, be ahead of the Detroit Lions. I don't think they will, but they could based on the division record. Right now, the Lions are 3-1 in the division. So seeds 6, 7, 8, and 9 are pretty much going to stay the same. Like I said, the only ones that change is the winner between the Washington Commanders and the New York Giants will now have the 6th seed. The loser will have the 7th. But Dan Campbell in his press conference today was talking about playoffs, and he can't ignore it. The team can't ignore it. And I think it's time to start talking about it. You can say that you want to face and you're worried about the next game. That's what you're supposed to say. But the playoffs are a real thing. And Dan Campbell has been trying to play it coy for the past few weeks, but now it is starting to heat up, and I think it's time for him to address the playoffs. But Dan Campbell says the Lions have to win out in order to make the playoffs, and it starts with the New York Jets. This information comes from the Detroit Free Press. We know we've got a chance, but we also know we feel like we need to win out here, and it all starts with the Jets, Campbell said. If we don't handle our business, it's all for naught. It's nice to be able to look up there and see that's a team that's in front of us that did get a loss. And so it's hard to ignore that. But also we know our guys know we have to do our part. So again, Dan Campbell is referring to the loss that the Seahawks got last night against the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to tell you what, the San Francisco 49ers clinched the NFC West yesterday, and they are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. Now it's just about seeding. Will they be 2 through 4? I mean, if Philly falters, San Francisco is probably the second, the hottest team. I mean, and we would have to be number 2 in my opinion. And they have a chance to kind of come up. Philly has 4 games left, and the Niners have 3. So I want to say that Philly can clinch basically the first seed with 1 more win or something like that. And the Niners could potentially have the second seed. And I'm going to tell you, I don't want to play them. If we make the playoffs, we'll be in at 7. We would have to win out and somehow get 6 and then potentially face the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Minnesota Vikings might kind of fall apart, and the San Francisco 49ers might come up and get that second seed. But you know what? We still have 4 games to play, and like Dan Campbell said, we have to handle our business. That is the number 1 priority. So let me know in the comments below, what team would you rather face if we make the playoffs? Do you think the Detroit Lions are going to make the playoffs? And how do you feel that we're going to face Zack Wilson instead of Mike White? My name is Derek. This is Detroit Lions Syndicate. Again, check the pinned comment. We are less than 20 away from 1,000 on Syndicate Sports Detroit. Don't forget, Detroit Lions Forum will be hosting a show on Saturdays, and I think it begins tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe to that channel and hit the notifications. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself, and as always, go Lions. Listen, the playoffs are right within reach.